Hello students, welcome to the 8th chapter Civil Disobedience Movement, Standard 8th, Subject History, Part 3. In the earlier session, Part 2, we had learnt about Dharasana Satyagraha. The Satyagraha at Dharasana was led by Sarojini Naidu in Gujarat. The next topic that we talked about was sacrifice of Babu Genu. In Mumbai, there was agitation against foreign goods. Babu Genu, a mill worker from Mumbai, was in the forefront in this movement. The next we talked about was features of civil disobedience movement. This movement became a nationwide movement. Women also took part in large numbers. This movement was based on complete non-violence. We even talked about Round Table Conference. The British Prime Minister Ramsay MacDonald was chairman of the Round Table Conference. He was of the opinion, while the civil disobedience movement was going on, the constitutional issues regarding India should be thought over. So for this purpose, he organized a conference at London. From 1930 to 1932, 3 Round Table conferences were organized. First Round Table Conference. In this conference, there were discussion on various topics such as responsible government at central level, establishment of federal state in India, etc. However, the Indian National Congress did not participate in it. The biggest party during 1930 was Congress Party, but the Congress Party did not attend the conference. The Indian National Congress was the main body that represented the country India. As the main representative of the Indian National Congress Party did not attend the Round Table Conference, the deliberations, that is the discussion in the Round Table Conference, were meaningless. So after the failure of first Round Table Conference, the British government, President Ramsay MacDonald, made an effort to make an agreement that the Indian National Congress would attend the next Round Table Conference. In this view, the British Prime Minister made an appeal to the Viceroy Lord Irwin to free Mahatma Gandhi from prison. They created an conducive means favourable atmosphere for the Congress to freely come and discuss in England at the conference. The Viceroy Lord Irwin was authorized to hold talks with Mahatma Gandhi. Finally, Gandhi and Irwin made an agreement on 5th March 1931. This agreement is called Gandhi-Irwin Pact. According to this pact, government assured that the system of responsible government will be added in the Indian Constitution, and they even agreed to release most of the civil disobedience volunteers against whom there was no allegation of violence. And even the Congress under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi agreed even they would suspend the civil disobedience movement and agreed to participate in the second Round Table Conference. So in 1931, the Round Table Conference was organized. Mahatma Gandhi attended this conference as a representative of the Indian National Congress. Along with the Indian National Congress, various caste and communities, political parties' representatives were present, as well as princely states were invited. The government put forth the minority issue in the second Round Table Conference. On this issue, there arises a lot of differences. In this, every political party had their own perspective in relation to the nature of prospective federal constitution. Now, nature of federal constitution was in terms that some power of Indian constitution will lay in the center and some powers will lay in the hands of the state. Now, Gandhiji tried a lot to get unanimity in the opinion, means all people should agree on the same, but it was not successful. People disagreed on his opinion and Gandhiji got disappointed and returns to India. Even in the second Round Table Conference, representatives of different political parties in India and rulers of princely states participated in the conference. Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar represented Dalits in the second Round Table Conference, and he proposed that they want separate electorate for Dalits. Now, separate electorate means the seats for Dalits will be kept fixed, that is, some number of seats should be fixed for Dalits and only Dalit will vote for Dalit. So after second roundtable conference, what happened? British Prime Minister Ramsay MacDonald declared communal awards. Now according to this communal awards, Dalits had got a separate electorate. So according to this, Dalit will be able to vote for Dalit and Dalits will have a fixed seats. This way the reservation of seats was started and Gandhiji didn't wanted the unity of our country to be affected. Now giving separate electorate would mean unity is breaking. Now every community or caste or creed will make their own group and every different group will make their own demands for separate electorate. By making different groups, we will be divided. So due to this very reason, Gandhiji went on fast unto death and at this time he was in the Yerwada jail, where he was protesting against separate electorate in terms of caste and creed, and he showed his disappointment and his anger through this fast. He declared he will fast to death till the time the separate electorate which is given by the British government is not taken back or the one who has taken doesn't return it. So Indian National Congress leaders requested Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar to reconsider the demand for separate electorate. Keeping the nation's interest in mind, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar accepted the request. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar was a very educated personality and he knew paying interest on nation right now is more important. So in 1932, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar signed a treaty, that is a Pune Pact, with Mahatma Gandhiji. And according to this pact, a separate electorate for Dalits was cancelled. But a provision was made for Dalit, that is some reserve seats were fixed for Dalits. It was like a protection was given to them and mainly Gandhiji didn't want to separate them from rest of the Indians. Once the pact was signed between Mahatma Gandhiji and Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Gandhiji broke this fast. So this was a Pune Pact. With the disagreement with the Indian representatives present at the second roundtable conference and with the Pune Pact that was made between Mahatma Gandhiji and Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, a third roundtable conference was held. This conference was held in November 1932 in England only. But Indian National Congress boycotts this conference and thus this third roundtable conference again becomes a failure. Now lastly we are going to talk about second phase of civil disobedience movement, how it started. After second roundtable conference there was disagreement between political leaders. People disagreed on Gandhiji's opinion. So Gandhiji got disappointed and returned to India. Now second roundtable conference took place in 1931. Once Gandhiji returned to India with a dejected mind, he decides on starting the civil disobedience movement again. Now a treaty was signed between Gandhiji and Viceroy Lord Irwin, Gandhi-Irwin Pact. So as soon as Gandhiji starts the civil disobedience movement, Gandhiji again gets arrested by the Britishers, due to which people of India got really angry and they were demanded that Gandhiji should be freed. And people were showing their anger now by demonstrating satyagraha again all over India. So government started using inhuman oppressive methods to suppress the people by lathi charge. They were torturing people to stop the satyagraha. They were even treating the volunteers of civil disobedience movement very badly and cruelly. The civic right, means a human right, was being crushed. Indian National Congress and its associates were even declared illegal. Indian National Congress was a party that was working for its own people and their main aim was to get freedom for their country. After declaring Indian National Congress illegal, Britishers could take any action against any person, whether it be Indian National Congress or its associates. So this was turning out to be really a big problem, and newspapers during this time were also writing many articles against Britishers. So even national newspapers and literature were declared illegal. Many restrictions were levied on them, so much that they couldn't say anything that they wanted or write anything that they wanted. And if any journalist or author was saying or writing against Britishers, they were sent to jail. They were even sometimes given very severe punishment or even death. They were torturing the people too much. So finally, in April 1934, Gandhiji withdrew the movement. That is, he cancelled the movement. So the historic phase of civil disobedience movement in India that had started after non-cooperation movement came to an end. So in April 1934, the civil disobedience movement totally ended. But it gave rise to many more movements ahead where the Indians were fighting their struggle for independence. So, in the next session, we will be studying about the last phase of struggle for independence. Thank you.